Hello, it's Philip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers, and I'm looking today at a publication from Lexcel and Law Society Publishing. It's called Lexcel's Client Care Toolkit, now in a second edition. I have reviewed this before. It's part of the Practice Management Standards series. It was actually in a blue cover on the first occasion. It's now sort of pinky, well, purpley, or I'm not quite sure what colour, pink probably. Anyway, there's a nice blurb on the back, and in fact I think I'd probably call it cherry colour. Let me talk a little bit about this, because I think this toolkit, having been seen initially perhaps a little cautiously by people, now probably have seen the worth of it. And as I said, there's a great CD-ROM at the back which gives you some help, and lots of little checklists and various other things. But let me tell you a little bit about what we think of the book. We've put the review on the web, and we've given it the title, For the Busy Law Practice, the Lexcel Guide to Client Care, revised and updated with a CD-ROM. Now, putting clients first may not be easy, but it exemplifies all that is actually important in client care, particularly for a firm of solicitors dealing as they do with the people business, if you like. However, it's pointed out in the preface to this excellent toolkit, that's the second edition, that client management is a field that many practices find particularly challenging. And they're absolutely right. It's not just firms of solicitors. I know that many other people in other areas do too. So this type of development of these toolkits is just some common sense which assists you during the stress of your very busy working day. No one in the legal fraternity will argue, we think, with the basic proposition we're putting forward, and considering the number of challenging clients that there are out there, you do need as much help as you can get. And I can say that as a person who works in public access work as counsel, so I'm well aware of the difficulties with some staff. Of course, equally, and of course clients, equally challenging, of course, are contemporary working environments with increased regulation, tighter scheduling, higher client expectations, which are of course quite right, not to mention competition for the work itself, which is a big issue at the current time, with cuts and with all of the other pressures of modern living. As client care therefore has become a core element of the Lexcel Practice Management Standard, Law Society Publishing decided to develop these toolkits, and this is just one of a series, all of which I think are extremely helpful and should be in your libraries. If you've already have the first edition of this concise and comprehensive guide, you will actually need the second one, because it contains updates on a range of areas, particularly the Equality Act 2010 and the appointment of the new legal ombudsman. And I think that is important to bear in mind. Certainly from my practice as a barrister, I do need to know about this, and this book is not just designed for help with solicitors. I think it's much wider than that. There are updates with the standards requirements for the Lexcel Practice Management Standard series, and that's version 4.1, and that contains the file and case management list and so forth. Can I just say as a concluding point that a real time-saving feature here with this and the other Lexcel toolkits is the CD itself, which replicates the templates which are set out and the policies actually in the publication, which you can then put onto your own computer. It covers quality, equality, diversity, and also things like all the checklists that you actually need to have. Going back as I do rather a long time now, I remember when I did my first management course, and in those days we didn't have anything like this, and I really would have liked to have had little checklists. We started developing that when we were doing management training for staff, but I do think this is very helpful for the second decade of the 21st century. It's designed to help enhance the efficiency of your practice and to save you time, and I think it does that. It functions admirably, we think, both as a reference guide and as a thoroughly practical resource, and it's something that I think all members of staff will find very helpful. So thank you very much to Lexcel and Law Society Publishing for this second edition, which will go together with the other documents in our library. Thank you very much. Bye bye.